This is Julia James Davis, and welcome to The War on Beauty. Christmas is being erased for inclusion purposes. The Neiman Marcus catalog, which is a Christmas tradition that has been going for 98 years, has quietly banned the use of the word Christmas from their book this year. Instead of calling their catalog the Christmas book, it's now called the Holiday Book. They said they made this change in the spirit of inclusivity as it welcomes customers from all backgrounds, religions, and traditions to celebrate the season. This might not seem like a big deal, but it actually really is, because this is just one instance in a trend of completely erasing extremely important and sacred traditions from our culture, from our society, and the most important one being Christmas, the celebration of the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And this is one of the most important ways that there has been a war on beauty, because tradition and the idea of tradition is one of the most beautiful concepts and practices. However, tradition and traditionalism is being erased from our culture. However, people still yearn for it because it is one of the most fundamental human desires. People deep down, they don't want new, they want continuity, history, and connection with the past. Tradition gives you a feeling of security, roots, and makes you feel like you belong to something bigger. It is truly one of the most beautiful practices that humans have. It's about knowing where you come from at the root of it. And two, the war on tradition is also part of the war on history. So we're really losing tradition in the most fundamental of ways in almost every area. The key areas in particular, from church, family life, and our nation's patriotic traditions, which kind of all feed into each other. When I was thinking about some of the traditions that are so important that we're really losing, the first thing that came to me was family dinners. According to the Family Dinner Project, fewer than 30% of families eat meals together regularly now, and according to the Institute for Family Studies, the amount of Americans who had family meals every day growing up decreased from 84% in the silent generation to just 38% amongst Gen Z. The next thing that I thought of was saying grace before meals. This is something that you rarely see. Connected to this, having family meals and saying grace, is attending church as a family on Sundays. Now, only 3 in 10 of US adults attend church services regularly, 21% of Americans. These are all traditions that, once they're broken, are so hard to bring back. I think about I don't want to say the word, the starts with a P and ends in demic. They broke the continuity of going to church on Sundays as a family. And since then, numbers never restored to how they were levels. When you don't go to church, your faith lapses. So now, as church attendance has declined so precipitously, the number of Americans who describe themselves as Christians is down 12% over a decade, while the amount of people that describe themselves as religiously unaffiliated or atheist is up from 17% to 26% in just 10 years. So now less and less people identify as Christian or Catholic, and more people are identifying as agnostic or atheist. While Neiman Marcus wants to remove the word Christmas to be more inclusive, this is not a move for inclusivity. This is just a reflection of the growing atheism of our society and the breaking down of all important and sacred traditions. And this extends beyond your Christmas shopping or what catalogs you're reading or having family dinners. Church is a powerful experience of tradition. As a Catholic, one of the things that I love about it is the tradition. The church and the Mass is almost identical to the day that it was founded by Jesus Christ. The consecration of the host, the Eucharist, the drinking of the wine, the saying of the scriptures. These things have been the same for hundreds and thousands of years, which is so powerful. And you will go into church church now to this day and have the same mass as you would have had hundreds of years ago, which is so amazing. And it's something that connects you to the past and to the people around you. And so the breaking down of the religiousness in America is tied to fewer vocations into religious life. The people that make our churches are the priests and the nuns. They do the education, healthcare. First of all, by the way, the Catholic Church is the largest non-governmental provider of healthcare and education in the whole world. They spend hundreds of billions of dollars on education, healthcare. They do so much good. And a lot of this is done by the people who have consecrated their lives to religion and to the church. But in 2022, there were fewer than 42,000 nuns in America, a 76% decline in just 50 years. So vocations to religious life are at an all-time low. In fact, there is a crisis in the church of people not wanting to become nuns or priests. It's estimated that by 2042, there will be less than 1,000 nuns in America. That is so insane and so troubling. And I believe that that's a direct consequence of the breaking of tradition, the breaking of family life, and the breaking of religiousness in our society. And lastly, one of the most obvious ways that there has been a war on tradition is patriotism. Nobody says the Pledge of Allegiance anymore, and that is troubling as well. As they erase patriotism from our schools, our education, and just our society in general, there has been such a fostering of shame around our country and our origins. Think of renaming Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day or celebrating the 4th of July. It's something that is glossed over so fast. If they can do that to the 4th of July, just start covering it over and renaming holidays, what will they eventually do to Christmas? We can see that they're already starting to remove the word Christmas out of our vocabulary because of inclusion. Traditions are what bind us together. It is not even just as a family that traditions are so important, but it's as a community and as a country as a whole. These are things that we partake in together. In spite of our individual differences, we can all come together through a national identity or a religious identity or a community identity with these recurring traditions that are so lovely and sacred. And so it's no surprise that as traditions are just being smashed left and right, that we have a serious lack of national identity. Also, too, extreme division. I think that a reason why our country is in such a perilous state right now is because of this. And I think that reinstating tradition would be a vitally important part to bringing us all back together. So I would love to know, what are some traditions that you love to celebrate as a family or as an individual or community in your community? I think that one of mine is a new one as a recent convert to Catholicism, going to Mass on Christmas. So let me know what your favorite tradition is. I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.